Hello and welcome to this video on Mars's transit through Vishaka Nakshatra, which is going to start on the 28th of December and will continue through until the 19th of January. Now, during this particular transit, Mars will be conjuncting Jupiter, and these two planets reach their exactitude on the 7th of January. Now, with Vishaka Nakshatra, there's always this energy that is, on some levels, somewhat split, and I'm going to define that. What generally tends to happen with Vishaka Nakshatra is we're looking to transition out of one particular phase of our existence and make a shift into another area of our existence, right? And that area of existence relates to many different things. It depends upon several different factors where this particular transit would be happening in your horoscope, in addition to what Mars rules in your horoscope and Jupiter rules in your horoscope. And if you want to know about that, you can please visit my astrological services page and schedule an astrological consultation with me. But in those particular areas of your life, you're ready to make a transition. You're dissatisfied with the way things have been, and you're looking to start something new. But it's this energy of kind of being in between two worlds. Some of the old is still left, and some of the new has begun. And it's kind of like you're going back and forth between those two things. And during that process, I like to kind of think of it as like a distillation process of your new life. You're kind of getting rid of all those things that you don't want, and you're being open to new ideas, new ways to move forward. And with this particular transit, because equally during this particular period of time, Mars is going to be forming an angle with Ketu, which is in Dhanishta Nakshatra. One part of you is wanting to regain something from the past that made you feel like you were more in alignment with your life, that made you feel like you were living more in harmony with yourself, and that you were in a position, and this isn't a negative thing, but you're in a position where you were kind of like the center of your own universe, right? And one part of you is wanting to regain that particular state of existence and to relive it again. The thing is we can't always relive the past. As a matter of fact, we can't relive the past at all, except in our memories. And even when we're reliving the past in our memories, it's a different view of the past than we had in that particular past moment, right? Why is that? Well, because we're here and we're in the present, right? So really, ultimately, there's no way to relive the past. But I think ultimately what each of us is trying to do with this particular transit is to regain a position where we feel like we're being truer to ourselves, more in harmony with ourselves, more connected to the essence of who we feel that we are. Now, I want to read something to you in connection with Vishaka Nakshatra, which is from the recent translation done by my colleague Ernst Wilhelm of something called Taittiriya Brahmana, which is a section of Taittiriya Brahmana, I should say, which is a section on the nakshatras. And this is a direct translation of this section, which we've never had before. So at the branch of Indra and Agni, the conqueror and the fire, are yokes from above and crops from below. So the conqueror and the fire, the conqueror, well, that's the one who is conquering their senses, right? And what do I mean by that? What do I mean by conquering our senses? Our senses make us see things a certain way. Things appear to be in a particular manner, but that's not always astute. It's not always correct. We don't always see the truth. We may see a particular version of the truth in one particular moment, but then that fades away and we see a different version of the truth. Now, in essence, we need to be in a position where we're seeing the true state of existence, but none of us are able to do that until we've conquered the senses, which very few have actually conquered the senses. And that's what the universe, God, whatever it is you want to call us, wants us to do. So at the branch of Indra, Indra's the conqueror. This aspect of Indra is helping us to conquer our senses, conquer equally the difficulties that are in our lives. And how do we conquer the difficulties that are in our lives? By perceiving them correctly and understanding them. So at the branch of Indra, the conqueror, who wants to conquer and get rid of that old way of existence, and the fire that wants to purify that and to be in a position where one is living a life that's more sacred and sanctimonious to oneself. At the branch of Indra and Agni are the yokes. Now, what are yokes? Yokes are things that bind us to something, like oxen. They tend to have a yoke on that binds them to a cart or to a plow that's plowing a field. So basically, there's a yoke on us from above. There's a yoke on us from Indra and Agni, that the one that wants us to conquer the senses, and the fire that helps to purify. There's a yoke on us from that. And what comes from below are the crops, the harvest, right? So we have to connect with that divine essence of our being. We have to connect with that part of us that wants to see the truth and live more in alignment with the truth and purify ourselves of all the stuff that doesn't work. Now, translating that into your present day mundane existence, right? One part of you is ready to get rid of all this stuff from the past and to be in a position that you remember somewhere within your psyche where you were just more connected. Your life felt like, this is mine, right? This is mine, this is true, and this is real, and I want to be back in that position. Well, you can't be in that position again, but you can be in a new position that is potentially better. Does this mean that everybody that's in your life is going to leave your life and you're going to dump your boyfriend or girlfriend, or go off on some wild vacation, or buy a new Maserati and zoom off somewhere on your own? Well, it might, but more than likely not, right? What it does mean is that you're gonna, find yourself in a position where, even though you're still connected with someone, if you're connected with someone, or even though you have certain friends, or even though you have certain associates, or even though you have a certain job, or even though you have a certain home, whatever it might be about, right? One part of you is going to be in a new state of existence. And sometimes when that happens, things, people, places do all just naturally fade from our life into the rear view mirror. Sometimes we leave those behind us. Those that remain are right. Those that remain are right and true. But there's a new you that's emerging through this situation, a new, more deeply connected you. And as I mentioned in a previous video, which there will be a link to that video at the end, I did a video on Jupiter's transit through the Vishaka Nakshatra, which is going to continue until October of next year. During this particular long period transit of Jupiter, this transit of Mars as it connects with Jupiter is a very powerful punch, because Mars is kind of like the cosmic purgative. It kind of comes in and goes, I'm ready to just move this stuff on. And it comes in, it motivates, it pushes, and especially after Mars moves into Vishaka Nakshatra, which I said is going to happen on the 28th, it's leaving Swati Nakshatra. So it's leaving this restless energy that's ready to just kind of push and shift and move things. And so that momentum is going to come in, and it's going to really shift things forward for you in a big way. That process won't be complete, though. That process won't be complete. You still have some more time to endure that particular process between now and October. But this is a big period of it, and one that can be very productive. So use it to your advantage. Don't fear it. Welcome it in. Let it make some sweeping changes in your life, and bring things back into alignment with how you want them to be, But recognize, this is something I've stated over and over again in this video. You can't relive the past, but you can build a new, wonderful future for yourself. That's going to do it for this video on Mars's transit through Vishaka Nakshatra, which starts on the 28th of December and will continue through to the 19th of January. Remember, if you want more information on this particular transit or anything in general, please feel free to visit my astrological services page, which will be linked at the end of this video. That's going to do it for now. Please take the very best care of yourself. Bye now.